Hello, guys. Welcome to Defining Deborah. Hi. You know, my skin and going to war and aging, it is 70 degrees. I'm sweating already. Eyes watering because of allergies. I just can't win, even though this is one of the most beautiful times of the year. I'm looking a hot mess. Alrighty, so hi, we're gonna do a car chat. So I'm going to drive. I'm on my way to work. Going in a little bit later this Saturday because I end up staying late. So I figure I'll probably get there about 11:30. And lately my sleeping is off. If anybody else has insomnia, and they have some good ideas, I tell you, it goes back and forth. I can't take is it melatonin? I can't take that. It doesn't work well with my body. I don't like the sleeping pills that I've been giving because they're too strong. Either I wake up if I take half of what they told me to take, and if I take the full amount, I'm knocked out, but I'm groggy and all messed up the next day. So I have been trying to do where your TV is a black screen and it just has music, or I'll do prayer where it's just a word getting into me as I sleep. The one that does the rain seems to work pretty good. So yeah. So anyway, that's another reason why I'm leaving a little late. So, not sure if anybody looked at my two little short videos, the one showing what my dining room and living room looked like in 2020 and the improvements that I have made in 2021. Oh wow, you know what? Look at that. I told people that spring was coming because my allergies was cutting the food the last 3 weeks. And they were like, no. But look at those dogwoods. I love that about South Carolina. We have dogwoods everywhere. I don't have any in my yard, but look at that. They'll have their blossoms and then they'll turn green. But those are beautiful, aren't they? I love to see the ones that are pink. So, I thought for this car chat, there were a few things that was on my mind, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what is going to be my niche with my YouTube page. I do want the issues to deal with women over 50, but, there's other things that I'm interested in. Oh, a shout out to the vlogger Tony Daly. I happened upon her page a while back and started watching. I think it was sometime last year when her husband walked out on her. I'll tell you that in a minute. But what I wanted to tell you guys was that she does a thing where she does hauls for black-owned businesses, which is awesome. So one of the things she did, I've gotten into purses, bags, totes since I've gotten older. Now I know why I see all those old women with the totes. Anyway, one of the ones that she shouted out was Telfar. Telfar. Never had heard of them. And I really like the bag. I'm trying to think what color she got hers in. I can't remember. I might want to say black. I'm not sure. I think it's black. But anyway, I was like, well, I'm going to go out there and see, because I really love Dooney and Burke. Shout out to Dooney and Burke. Those bags hold up. Yes, they are a little bit more expensive, but I have yet to have one break on me, the leather peel, or anything. I am very hard on purses, and I'll carry a purse for the longest. That's why I'm trying to learn how to have variety. But yeah, those purses last. They're just good quality. You're getting your money's worth. But anyway, here's the Telfar. The only thing that I didn't like about it was that it wasn't real leather. It is the vegan leather. I do like a real leather bag. And it's dark blue. I think I have one Dooney and Bourke that's dark blue, but dark blue is really not my purse color, I guess I would say. I really like to have a pop of color when it comes to my purses. So reds, greens, yellows, anything like that. But when you go to their site, you're going to see that all their bags are sold out. And it's not a big fancy bag, it's just a tote. But they have one, this is the medium, but they have one smaller, and then they have one larger. I can't even imagine you could carry, that's like an overnight bag. But they have some really beautiful colors, but they sell out. Soon as the bags hit the website, they sell out. So you have to sign up, and then they'll let you know when they're going to have bags on sale. And I happened when I went, I think it was last week, I want to say, because they got it to me pretty quick. The minis were sold out, so all they had was the medium and the large. And the medium, I want to say the small one is like $157. That one was $200. The one I got was $202, and then the large was like $250 something or $268, somewhere like that. But all under $300. And when you start talking about buying designer bags, you know, like I love when I could get a Dooney and Bourke under $200 because they're having a 50% off sale or something like that. And you know, Kate Spade, I've caught hers on sale, but you know, her quality, they don't even really use real leather the majority of the time. And then they go up. When you're talking about Gucci, Fendi, all the other ones, you're talking about thousands sometimes. So, the designer name is Telfar Simmons, and he's a young African-American man. And yeah, if you're into purses and you want to try a black designer, check it out. Today's my first day carrying it. So we will see how sturdy this bag is going to be. I do know that, I want to say tomorrow, I got an email saying that the cream ones are going to be on sale. I really want to get my hands on one of the metallic ones. They have metallic baby blue, gold, and silver. And then I missed the red. They had the reds back this week, and I missed it. By the time I went to the website, they were all sold out. Or either I'd like to get one of the yellow ones for the spring. But we'll see. We'll see if I'm able to snag one of those. So, also, I'm trying to say, I trying to think of my last haul. I'm trying to think that I do in my last video, if I told you guys about Lume, L-U-M-E. I've really started trying to get into deodorants that don't have all the mercury and all that stuff in there, because it really discolors your underarm. And you got to think of that stuff has been seeping into your skin every time you sweat and you put it on. And then it was just like it got to the point that you have to scrub and scrub and scrub to get it off. It leaves like a film on your body, and I was just like, you know what, this is too much. So I was using Tom's. But then I seen a commercial, and it's like, you know what, I'm going to try this out. And it's deodorant for the whole body, from the top of your head to your feet. Any place you feel like you got a smell, you can put this on. And I have to tell you, it works, because what I had done since we had COVID, and, you know, I'm home the majority of the time, I just didn't put on deodorant. But because I have the hot flashes, and I know this is way too much information, but it makes me sweat a lot. So I would be walking, and I'd be like, oh, wow, you know, you got a little odor under your arms because I'm sweating so much. So I decided I would put it to the test. So I put it on, and I know this is TMI. But I put it on, and so I didn't take a shower for 72 hours to see if what they said was true. And they were right. No matter how much I sweat with hot flashes and all that, I did not have any odor underneath my arm. And When you wash, it washes right off, just like any other dirt that you might have on your body. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I give them a shout out. I did get the soap. I like the soap because it makes you feel soft when you get finished, and I don't feel like I have a film. I used to love to use Ivory just because it was pure and natural, but for whatever reason, after I started using body washes years ago, I felt like a heavy film was on my body after I used it. So I just quit using soap altogether, but I decided I would try theirs because all they don't have body wash, they just have soap and deodorants. And it's very mild. I got the lime citrus, I want to say, and it has a very, very light scent, and then you know what? You don't even smell it after you wash. But shout out to both of those products. And let me say, I don't get anything for boosting these products up because I have only 11 subscribers. Hopefully you would tell people more about me. Excuse me. But yeah, so I'm just telling you products that I've used, especially for women who may be going through what I'm going through, such as the hot flashes and all that. I'm waiting for somebody to come out with a product in makeup that you could put on a foundation that will not sweat off. Now you will be a billionaire because everything else, like I put it on, I like Lori Mercier. I think it's Mercier. Has a tinted moisturizer, and even putting that on kicks me over into a hot flash. So I end up wiping the majority of it off before I even left the house, because if I don't, I look like a big grease ball. Okay, so enough about me and my menopause issues. Hopefully it might help some of you guys out. But today I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Well, it really is one issue that has really, it's just gotten under my skin so bad. And I am a big proponent of taking up for children and the elderly. Children, because they don't have a voice, they don't have rights, and nobody really cares. A pedophile will get less time than a person that's dealing drugs, and the person that's dealing drugs, the person could possibly get off drugs and never use drugs again, but a person that is a pedophile that does damage to a child, they will live with that for the rest of their life. So anything pertaining to children, you know, I'm just a big advocate for making sure that they're safe. And it seems like our country, or a lot of countries, I'm not going to say just the United States, but a lot of countries still don't care about the youth. And the children are going to be the ones that are growing up and taking over and running the country that we live in, if you live long enough. So I just happened to be browsing through the news, and there was two stories that were heart-wrenching. I could not believe that this happened still in the United States and with children of African American descent. I am just so sick of the racism in the United States that it could just make me puke. The first one I ran across was a little boy that was in kindergarten in Oklahoma. And apparently, now if you have children, let me just say this. If you have children, all of us have probably gone through the too much toilet paper being put in the toilet and stopped it up. And you probably had to snake it out or something. It happens. Children are enthralled with rolling the toilet tissue off the roll, and when they're still learning how to wipe themselves correctly, they may use too much. Well, the teacher got upset because the little boy had went to the restroom and he had put too much toilet paper in the toilet, and the toilet got stopped up. Well, it's a school. They have janitors. They have people that come around. I know, I used to work for the school district in South Carolina. They're the ones that come around and try to get the things unstopped, and if they can't, the school will call in a plumber. But the teacher instead had the little boy dig the wet toilet paper through the feces out of the toilet. I could not believe this. I just wanted to scream. Ah! I just could not believe that. That couldn't have been me as the parent. because I'd probably be in jail. That could not have been me. You're not going to treat my child like that. I don't care who it is. And then the killer, to kick this story off, that was not the first time that a teacher at that school done that. It was the second time. I'm trying to think of the name of the school. Was it Spring something or something Hill? Just put in Oklahoma child toilet paper. Teacher makes child pull toilet paper out the toilet or something like that. I could not believe it. I actually went to the website, and guess what? The school has closed down the website. The district has closed down their website. You can't leave, to the point that you can't leave comments. Normally you could go out there and send a message. You can't. Their Facebook page, they don't have it where you can. The school doesn't even have their Facebook page up, and the district has it where you can't leave messages. I even called and left a message on their voicemail because I could not believe that. And that teacher should not be working in the school district ever again. They should be fired. I don't care how much of a shortage they may have of teachers. They should be fired, and they should never be able to teach in any school again. Period. A kindergartner. And then this was the second incident at that school. As if to say that the principal and the school district didn't give a crap about the first child that this went through or happened to. The second one is Texas. You know what? Texas is always on the map for something horrible. I used to say South Carolina, we would be in the top 10 of every bad thing, such as domestic violence, children not being educated, all those things like that. But you know what? Maybe I should have been looking at Texas. So in Texas, there was another African-American child, and this one, he was just getting abused by everybody. The little boy has asthma, and he was playing, which I don't understand why they even were letting him play football, but I guess, they didn't want him to not be able to play. And the coach took his inhaler. He should be fired and brought up on charges, because that little boy could have had an asthma attack out there playing football, and you had his inhaler and would not give it back? I don't even understand that. Then on top of that, the teacher was calling him out of his name and stuff in school. But then some little boys, I want to say that some of them were on the football team with him, and he was 13, so he was in middle school. One of the Caucasian boys urinated in a cup, and they made him drink it. See, these parents are good, because I can tell you right now, had anybody done some crap like that to my son, it was going to be hell to pay. I'm going to just say that. It was going to be hell to pay. You just didn't play with, no, you didn't. I can tell you guys a quick little story. I remember when my son was in, you probably hear that fan in the background, and that's my AC. You see I got it pumping. I just thought about that, and it's been blowing it through the whole video, hasn't it? I want to say he was in second grade. I think it was second grade. Anyway, my son was pretty much a car rider, definitely all the way through elementary and middle school. Because of where we lived, he walked sometimes, but I picked him up a lot because he was into sports, and yeah, he was just always a car rider. He tried riding the bus 2 times. The first time, he didn't like it because he said the kids were so bad. And the second time, I'll have to do a story. Oh my gosh, I'll have to do a car chat on my child. But I'm getting long-winded as it is. But anyway, I told you guys that I have an issue with insomnia. And it didn't just start. I've always had an issue with having disruptive sleep. It's gotten worse as I've gotten older, but even back then, I still had issues with sleeping through the night. And so sometimes that would get me off when I would have to get up in the morning and get him breakfast. I'm trying not to say my son's name. Get him breakfast, get him dressed, and, to the school. So there was a few times that I was late for him. Now, it wasn't real late. It would be after the bell, and it'd be during the time that, the kids are trying to sit down, like that. But instead of the teacher saying something to me, because I was very much a involved parent, so I substituted in the schools, and I did junior achievement in the schools. I'm not sure if I was doing it in second grade. I definitely know I started in third grade. So I might not have been doing it yet, but I was still an involved parent. So my son came home and he was all upset. And I was just like, he was like, Mom, I can't be late anymore. Or Miss, I'm not going to say the teacher's name, Miss J said that she was going to ship me to another country to go to school. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So he goes on to tell me that the teacher had an issue with him and another child who was from another country. I think he was from Russia, because the school my son was attending, because we're so close to the military base, and which I really love, they always had very much mixed race school. So like English being their second language, would have Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, Russians, Africans, just a mixture of children coming from different countries. But she had told him and the little Russian child that if they were late again, that she was putting them out her class and she was going to ship them to another country to go to school. Now, my son was in second grade, and of course he believed her because she's the authority at the school. Needless to say, the next morning when I dropped him off, I went to the classroom and I let her know under no uncertain terms was she to address my son about the fact of him, how he got to school, because the first thing is he's 7. So how many 7-year-olds are driving themselves to school? They're either getting to school by the bus or the parents are bringing them. So why are you talking to him about his transportation? And he had no control over whether he got there on time or late, unless he was already at school and he was playing around. So my thing is, why are you even saying that and scaring him and another child as if you have the authority to put him out of the classroom because he was late and send him to another country? Oh my gosh, I was livid. That's how they knew me a lot up there at that elementary school too. Because after I started 7, the teachers always called me because of the fact that you were just not gonna, you just weren't gonna railroad my son, you weren't gonna run over him, no. You just were not. And so needless to say, I had no more issues with this teacher for the rest of the school year. But it was interesting because when I ended up working full-time for the school district years later, the same teacher ended up being the assistant principal. Now, I remembered her. She didn't remember me because I had told her at that time when my son was in her class, she was a young teacher. I don't even know if that was her first year, but it was her first or second year. And she had no children, and she was single and all that. Had to be like her second or third year because she had won Teacher of the Year. And I told her, don't let that go to her head. And I was like, and then another thing, she would not appreciate someone talking to her child like that if she was on the other foot. Well, of course, by the time I seen her again, she had gotten married, had some children. And so I asked her, I was like, I brought it back to her teacher because, like I said, she didn't remember me. And I was like, so have you had any issues with your children having, problems with their teacher or the teacher talking to their child that way? Of course, she apologized again. But my thing is this. You need to be mindful when you're in that role of authority. Oh, look at those dogwoods. This is just a beautiful drive today. You just have to, as the parent, as the teacher, as the police officer, as the librarian, as the coach, whoever, you're making an impression on that child. And just because you have that type of authority, it's not your right to be able to scare the crap out of them and tell them stuff that's not true. Yeah. I just thought about it. I have quite a few stories about my son and little adventures at school. He was an only child, and his mother had him late, to say the least. I ended up having my son at 31. So I was very much involved, and he was the only child, so I had time to get involved in the things that he was doing. He probably says to this day that I was probably too involved, but hey, that's what you do as a parent. That is your job, is to know what's going on with your child. I just don't understand. You know, I do understand because parents are tired. But for this last year, a lot of parents were not working. And if their children were going to school a little bit after, you know, that it was lifted or whatever, if there was issues, you should have known because you're at home. But, you know, I still don't even understand how parents have had their children at home and the children are failing and you're right in the house with them. They're not going to school and you're not working. And yet you can't make sure that your child gets their schoolwork done. You know, that's just lack of parenting. And I can say that as a parent because even when I worked full time, I was going to school. My son was in school, and I had a multitude of things that I did at the church. It was still important for me, for one, to find out how his school day was and talk to him about that. Two, what homework do you have, and let me see it. And, you know, he had a routine. He knows when he came home, you got a snack. You sat down, you did your homework. There was no watching TV or anything like that. I need to check it and go over it with you. You know, it was just a routine. And then I signed the book. I'm not sure if any of you all have that, but here in South Carolina, I guess they still do it. I don't know, but my son is 28. But they used to have a homework book that would be in their book bag, and either the teacher might have wrote in there. Majority of the time, the student had to write in there what their homework was, and then the parent had to say they looked at it and signed it, and then the teacher would sign it. And I would look to see, you know, if he didn't do it. For some reason, my son would do stuff like he would do it, and then I don't know what would happen to it between him finishing it and getting it to the teacher, because there were times where she would be like, or he, most of them were she's, that he didn't have his homework turned in. And I'm like, well, he did complete it. I don't know what he did with it, but either or. I'm rambling now. Well, I am almost at the job, so I will end this vlog. It was nice talking to you guys. Thank you for checking in today with Defining Deborah. And yeah, if anybody has any comments, I am more than welcome to hear your comments about my little opinion, because, you know, I'm just one person, one of many. And I'm going to tell you about a comment that I made. I usually don't make comments on the other people's vlogs, but I made one, and how, oh my gosh, I think this thing now has like 900 some comments under it. And a lot of them were coming at me, and I wasn't even the vlogger. And it was just crazy. So yeah, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And I'm going to get on in here and talk to my patients. And hopefully it's a nice day where you're at and the trees are blossoming like here in South Carolina. And I love you guys for checking out the video. And you guys have a wonderful day. And thanks for checking in with Defining Deborah. Bye.